We are hardwired for connection as human beings. And the Surgeon General of the United States has said loneliness is an epidemic that is deadly. It's literally as deadly as smoking more than a pack of cigarettes a day. I was really lonely as a busy young mom. I felt like I was so different than most of my neighbors, and I didn't know how to reach out. I didn't know how to ask for help. I think some of my own searching led me to really read a lot on loneliness and connection, and the neurochemistry in our brains wants us to be connected to others, and people are dying from loneliness. We can be bridge builders and not separators, not stone throwers. All need to feel like we belong. We all need to feel like we have value, and we all need to feel like people hear us when we want to share our stories. Our family's big. So my husband and I have adopted 20 kids. We actually have 25 total. 19 of them are living. We have 9 grandchildren now. All of our children are grown. We're raising a granddaughter along with many other parents or grandparents now in the United States. So our second child was born with special needs, and I think it really fundamentally changed the whole direction of our family. We had not planned on a family of such a large size, and when Elizabeth was born, it really changed our perspective on how to parent and what we could do as parents. And so when we adopted, we were looking for children who were considered hard to place. Maybe that's why I have more of a heart for refugees potentially, because I know what it's like to have people look at you and think you're different, or just to feel like what can you do to help your kids, and to sometimes feel helpless because you can't fix everything. I think everybody has lessons that they can teach us. I think refugees specifically can teach us about resilience. I think they can teach us about trying to find a way out during some really dire circumstances. I think they can teach us about hope. I've been to Greece to work with refugees. I've been to Turkey to work with Syrian refugees. I really think it's me being a mom, right? I mean, I love my kids, and I feel really drawn towards helping others. And I think the great thing about the way our family has grown and grown up, now they're all adults, is that they all have a heart for service. I just have a deep love for the strength of women and a belief in their abilities. And it makes me sad when I see girls and women who somehow play down their abilities or play down the opportunities that they have. Maybe they think they're not smart enough to go to school, or they don't need to, or they've been out of the workforce for a long time, and so it's hard to re-enter. I find myself wanting to be a champion for those who haven't found their own voice, right? So I want to be a champion for people who are on the margins, and sometimes it's women that are. There's a saying that I heard a long time ago that you may not care about politics, but politics is going to care about you. I got involved in politics because there was an issue that I cared about, actually, and we needed to make some changes to the law. In 2000, a midwife was arrested and charged with practicing medicine without a license, which is a really big deal. But we felt as a midwifery community that there was a problem with the law and not with her work itself. And so we wanted to make sure that we could practice our profession legally. Because there was something that I cared about, I kind of jumped in with both feet and learned how the process worked. Was successful in getting a law changed. It took us 4 legislative sessions, but we were successful in changing a law that affects midwives in the state of Utah. We were state number 26 to legalize home birth midwives, also known as direct entry midwives. Midwives now in the state can practice legally, and parents still have the opportunity to choose where they want to have their baby. I think one of the things I've learned about politics that people would be surprised at, especially today, is that politics is fundamentally about relationships. If you're a politician and you're working to get a bill passed, you have to have good enough relationships with the rest of the people in the body that you serve in that you can get your issue passed. In Utah, it's 35 members of the House, 15 members of the Senate, and the governor to get on board, right? So you may have the best idea in the world, but if you can't convince people that it is the best idea in the world, you're not going to be able to pass it. And if you burn bridges, then you're not going to be able to go back down the road and say, okay, I've worked on it, I've made these changes, then can I get your vote now? Because you've already burned a bridge. So fundamentally, politics is about relationships and about learning to get along. So I think one of the key things that you learn in being involved in politics is you have to build bridges. Sometimes we need people who are not on the margins maybe to step in and say, that's not right. And the way you can do that in a respectful way, but it's also saying we're going to bridge from this community because there's nobody else speaking up for them. Mr. Rogers' mom used to tell him when he was a little boy and he was afraid, look for the helpers. And I think what gives me hope is I can always find helpers. When I went to Ukraine and was on the border, there were so many helpers from all over the world. Some of them like me who just said, I have to go. Some of them with organizations, large and small. There were so many helpers, and there are still people willing to help everywhere. You can look at the needs and be overwhelmed, but I think the thing that gives me hope is that everywhere that there's a need, there's at least one person that's trying to make a difference and trying to change whatever the situation is, whatever it is. So helpers give me hope.